Mexico City is a very particular track. 2,200 meters altitude makes it a track in which we run Monaco level downforce, so very high downforce. But we actually obtain only Monza level downforce, so very low downforce. Why? Because there's very little density in the air. This makes strategy quite difficult because the car is slippery, the cars are difficult to overtake, and they're difficult to pull. There's very little air. So as such, we plan is usually a one-stop strategy in which we cannot plan on overtaking a lot. And as such, it turns out mostly to be a one-stop race. For this race, we expected the soft to be a tire that wouldn't last very long, so everyone qualified on medium, and we expected to plan a medium hard race with a very wide window in which you could stop because these two tires gave us a lot of tire life. So you can see Formula One in general, we plan to get the most points out of a particular driver. But there are some special occasions in which we can do teamwork to improve the team result. Examples of this in Mexico, there were plenty. We saw in qualifying, McLaren had two cars to just qualify one car. We also had Alpha Tauri, had two cars to qualify one car. Likewise, we had an opportunity to do some teamwork because our main focus was to make sure we maximize the points versus McLaren. And as such, on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, we sat down with both Carlos and Charles to make sure that whatever one of our drivers did actually helped the other driver beat Charles or McLaren in this case. As luck will have it, after the first lap, we actually did not have Ricciardo anymore. We found ourselves with two cars behind an Alpha Tauri, behind Gasly. And we said, okay, let's carry on with the plan we had to try and maximize our points versus McLaren with Gasly in this case. As such, we saw Charles on lap 30. The earliest we think we could go to the end on that hard tire. And we knew this, he would not undercut Gasly. We were too far away from Gasly for an undercut. But we also knew that Gasly would have had to react, maybe not the lap after, but 2 laps late at maximum. And this allowed Carlos to extend his medium stint by 12 laps. Now, by product of extending his stint by 12 laps, what Carlos had was a much faster car on the last stint. And he came chasing both Charles and Gasly. Charles let Carlos by to allow Carlos to try and chase Gasly. We had already agreed that if Carlos was not able to overtake Gasly, he would give this try. And as such, Carlos gave it a good try. And with only 2 laps to go to the end, Carlos was 8 seconds ahead of Charles, but still managed to slow down and let Charles get back the position he had given him initially. So this was a very good example of teamwork. It's something that we're very proud of. It's Ferrari. We have 2 drivers that are working very good together, and something that we not just want to keep. Is something we're building on and making better as we go. So now we're going to Brazil. We're going to fly to Brazil this week, and we have our last sprint quali event. Interlagos in itself is a very particular track because it's a short lap, high altitude, not as high as Mexico, but it's 700 meters nonetheless. So it presents its own challenges in itself. A track with very varying weather. So while in most places we see rain coming in front, so we can see it come maybe the day before or 6 hours before, in Brazil usually we're just looking at the radar and it could rain at any point in time. So that makes Brazil quite challenging. Weather is quite challenging in Brazil. So this year we have had Formula One has put together this new format, sprint qualifying, in which we qualify on Friday. We have a small race to then alter the grid maybe on Saturday, and then we have the final Grand Prix on Sunday. We've tried this in Silverstone and in Monza, and this is the last time in Brazil that we will try this format. There are some interesting parts about this new format. The fact that qualifying is the first day we go to the track makes it quite interesting for the drivers and teams because we don't have time to prepare. We just get there on Thursday, run on Friday for 1 hour, and after that 1 hour you go into qualifying. So it's really exciting. It makes for a very exciting qualifying. After that, we go into the race on Saturday. There's a sprint race, it's called, and it's a very small race. In this case, it will be 18 laps. Being such a small race, the start is paramount. And then for the Grand Prix, it's a normal Grand Prix like always. And as we know for Brazil, the challenges are mostly we'll be dealing with the tires and dealing with the weather. We are expecting rain at several points.